if you didn't know already, this time we'll be looking at the Masters of the Universe Classics Whiplash. And we'll get this guy out of the white mailer box and the packaging. There he is. And take a quick look at the back of the card. There's the little bio, and with his real name, Torrent Krazut. Some of the other figures on the back. So let's take a look at his weapons first of all. He comes with the 2002 series weapon, which looks very, very bizarre. It's kind of this mix of a trident and curved blade. Yeah, I'm not so much of a fan of this, even though I did like the character's redesign in that series. I prefer the good old classic spear, which is recreated here. A little bit of a bend to it, but only the tiniest bend, probably due to packaging issues. Now that may vary figure to figure. There's a little bit of a paint job here just to give it a little bit different paint, make it pop, I guess. And now on to the figure itself. Very nice sculpt. His hands and his groin piece, fur, undies are reused. So everything else is brand new. Looks to be like we'll be getting some new figures that will use these molds as well. I think you can tell right there the chest piece will be used for Buzz Off as well. The legs. Hopefully we'll get a clawful out of this too, because if I remember right, the clawful and Whiplash pretty much had the same legs in the original line. So here's hoping that they do that with this line as well. Very nice head sculpt. I love the bushy eyebrows. It's very fun. I guess they're not really eyebrows, but they give that effect out. Very nice new take on the classic figure. And I really like the paint job, how it slowly blends in to the darker green through his neck. The tail is sculpted very well. I do kind of wish that they might have given him a little bit of articulation in the back here, maybe a hinge back here somehow, but I'm not too upset over it. The tail just snaps right into the back. There's two pegs here, right there, and two holes, and it does take quite an amount of force to get them back on. So it's on there nice and tight. It's not going to be falling off, which is very good. Now for articulation, his head, a very nice ball joint, goes up and down, left and right. Arms go all the way around. They go out, but I do find the shoulders very stiff for some reason. I think it's the mold back here. I'm not sure. It may just be my figure. They rotate at the bicep, bend at the elbow, rotate at the wrist. He does have the ab crunch, but it's very limited by his chest piece here. I'm sure Buzz Off will be the same, but he still retains it, so that's cool. He has waist articulation as well. So for those of you who remember the old figure, you're gonna have to do his little tail swapping action by yourself. And his legs are very nice. They go out, forward, and back, and rotate at the upper thigh, bend at the knee, rotate here at the, well, I don't know if you call this a boot or not, but they twist there. And his feet bend at the ankles as well as pivot a little bit at the ankles, which is very nice. He does come with an alternate head from the style of the 2000 series, and let's pop that on. So you pop that on, and while it's nice and a very, very good representation of that character from that series, it's just there's something off about it, and I think the reason for it is that the 2000 character is a much bulkier character. So while this guy has got muscles, like all the other Masters figures have muscles, I mean, he's no slouch in that department, but the 2000 design was, if they made a figure of him, he'd be much broader and stockier, maybe. And so I'm thinking that that's the reason why this head doesn't really look good on the figure, or as good as the classic head does. And I do prefer the classic head, so I'm going to put him back on, and there we go. Now, he does have a little bit of a balancing issues, but again, the tail does help out with that by turning it to one side or the other, or you can prop him up with the tail on the back, and it does help to have, if you have him on a shelf or something, to turn the tail that way. It really cuts down on the space that he takes up. This guy makes a real great addition to the all your evil Masters. This is my 8th purchase from MattyCollector.com, and really it's only the second one that I've had any trouble with ordering. Many people have had the same problem that I encountered, but my page would, even though I had gotten into the ordering process and to an ordering page, my computer would not my computer, but the site would constantly refresh as if it were on the white screen of death, which you get when there's high traffic to the website. I almost didn't get this guy, and I'm beginning to think about whether it isn't worth the extra money you pay for finding them on eBay or a third-person retailer, versus the headache it is to try and get online at the right time to get a figure. And it really shouldn't be this hard to buy a toy. I think it's not just Masters of the Universe, it's everything. I mean, DC Universe Classics, I mean, it just becomes a headache, and I willingly pay for the toys. It just seems like the retailers and sometimes even the producers are making it hard. To prevent this from turning into a rant, I'm going to stop right now. Just so you know, I am seriously considering, after the headache this guy nearly caused me, not to purchase anything more from Matty.com. Of course, I say that now, but they're really only, they're the only game in town, and they know it. So, or I shouldn't say they're the only game, they're the cheapest game in town, and they realize that, and so we're locked in to doing things their way. and it's just a sad fact. Well, anyway. Oh, one more thing to mention. Sorry. His 2002 weapon, it doesn't really hold too well. It doesn't fit. It's too big to fit in his right hand, but in his left hand it just barely fits, and it doesn't really fit so much as slightly dangle there on the precipice of falling down. Anyway, that'll be it for Whiplash, the Masters of the Universe Classics Whiplash. And stay tuned for my next video. And till then, see ya.